a lot of sort of uncertainty floating around, with some people who, have had the misfortune of losing their job and aren't quite sure what the financial situation is going to look like. Even people who are currently employed, but how long is maybe that going to last, and what is coming their way. So our topic today is really about inner stability in facing the unknown. And I'm really excited to hear your insights here, Dr. Alexia. So why don't we kick things off with really defining what is inner stability?
Well, it's a really great question, and everything that you touched on is extremely valid because we are in a time that is unprecedented. It is something that none of us are familiar with. So in terms of inner stability, what this refers to for me is a sense of being able to feel very grounded and very centered so that we can respond. Because when we don't have that felt sense of stability, that's when we become very reactive. And it doesn't mean that we don't feel fear or anxiety, because it is indicated right now. Those emotions are going to run through us.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is developing an awareness so that rather than be completely attached to what's happening outside of us, that we're able to see what's happening, be informed and take the precautionary measures, but then also work with what's happening inside so that we can actually provide a sense of stability for ourselves, but also everybody around us.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows for clarity, because we cannot make healthy decisions when we're in an impulsive fear state.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think, it kind of really harnesses conversations I have a lot with patients of mine is, really that sympathetic versus parasympathetic system, right? And which one is really kicking into gear? Kind of coming back to what you were saying is, are we in a fight or flight, alarm, responsive state, or are we really in a place where we can kind of look at things objectively and, start to, have a different opinion about what's going on, so to speak?
Yes, and for sure, the physiology impacts us for sure. The other part is that it's not an either or right now, and I think that that's often what people are. We tend, all of us tend to want a definition, and we want a sense of knowing something, and having a sense of, then this is going to happen. And right now, we're in a place where we don't know. It's day to day, and we're all being sort of inundated with not only the media and a lot of fear,
Right.
but also the conversations that we're sharing, and really going virtual, where we're working from home. There's all huge learning curves happening. And at the same time, we're also feeling these emotions and the physiology behind the sympathetic nervous system. But we sort of have to be able to have room for both. We can't say either or, because this is why I think on a very symbolic level, that globally what is happening is that this is making humanity kind of wake up and get a sense of who we really are, instead of attaching to the labels so much around my job or, this security. It's a false security. The things on the material plane disappear, right? That's just part of life.
Right.
So, being able to recognize, okay, right now I'm feeling really anxious, or I'm feeling really fearful. And once we see that, being able to bring it into a place of, and in this moment, I'm okay. And we do have to acknowledge the fear, right? But it's a matter of it, whether it becomes our driver. And that's where we have to be very careful with what we are choosing to think about.